At 7 years old, Call of the Wild has advanced throughout the years. From running around aimlessly as a beginner just trying to find an animal, to using her management to get thousands of kills on a grind for a great one. As the game develops, so do the players. In this video, we're going to cover strategies, tips, and terminology you may want to know when learning about the Hunter Call of the Wild. Firstly, let's go over some common terms you may hear in the community. Trolls. A troll is considered a max level animal that does not score the minimum trophy rating for a diamond medal even after passing all of the harvest checks. I will cover ratings and harvest checks later on, but to show an example of this, let's take a look at a troll, diamond potential, and guaranteed diamond. Diamond potential. A diamond potential animal is an animal with a score estimate that includes the minimum requirement for a diamond rating medal. This could mean an animal with the diamond minimum requirement at the top of the estimate is a diamond potential. There are exceptions to this. There's a few different factors involving different racks or weights that can affect the likelihood of an animal making diamond. Some species have guarantees that will consider whether the animal will or will not make diamond. Like, as I said, including racks and weight. Guaranteed diamond. Similar to the potential diamond, a guaranteed diamond involves trophy rating, racks, and estimates. A guaranteed diamond either has the minimum requirement of diamond at the bottom of his estimate, or has a rack that is guaranteed to be diamond scoring. If you get a diamond scoring animal that looks different from the rest, consider yourself insanely lucky. Super rare. A super rare is a diamond scoring animal with a rare fur type. They are just like what they're called, super rare. If you're in multiplayer and you come across a server with a bunch of rare animals, usually max level animals, that server is probably modded, which means it's cheated, so I suggest you leave that server because none of those trophies are legit. You can find lists of rare fur types online, but there are fur types that are always rare, which are albino, melanistic, and leucistic. Those are the main ones I can think of, but there are certain fur types that are rare for certain species but not for others. For example, piebald is rare for almost every species that has it except for mallards and other ducks. The only waterfowl that have piebald as a rare are magpie geese and green-winged teal. Ultra rares. With an extreme rarity, only a few of these have ever been found and said to be legit. An ultra rare is a great one with a rare fur type. Currently, ultra rares are only found with white-tailed deer, since they do not have great one specific fur types. All of the white-tailed great ones normally are common furs, and I've only personally ever seen 2 in the community posted that are supposedly legit. Obviously, you can't really prove it per se, unless you show like you've seen it spawn, I guess. With super rares, there are also super trolls. Super trolls are exactly as they sound. Super trolls are max level animals with a rare fur type that do not make diamond. Continuing on trolls, a troll is not a diamond potential animal that does not make diamond. The animal must be max level to be considered a troll. Whitetail max at level 3. However, they do make diamond at level 2. If you find a diamond potential 2 and he does not score diamond, he simply doesn't make it. He would not be considered a troll unless he was level 3, which is max level. Furthering in on the topic of levels, let's take a deeper look into what they actually mean. Animal levels and difficulties. When you spot an animal, you're greeted in the top right corner of your screen to an information box. In order to see what I'm about to explain, you need the spotting knowledge skill, preferably maxed out. It doesn't have to be fully maxed out, but if you have points in that, you will see what I see. If you don't, box will be mostly blank. So if you do have the spotting knowledge skill, inside of this box, it contains the animal level, difficulty, class, weight estimate, trophy estimate, and species. Each animal has its own max level in which will either make diamond or troll. There are 3 different max levels to look out for. 9 legendary, 5 medium, 3 very easy, 10 fable, which is only available for species that have a great one. And I can't really explain to you why certain species have a higher max level than others, or lower, but I can give you some tips. Most predators will go up to 9 legendary. Foxes, bears, lynx, wolves, coyotes, bobcats, and crocs are examples. They all go up to 9 legendary. Red deer, Cape buffalo, water buffalo, and kangaroo are non-predators that do go up to 9 legendary. 5 medium is another max level to look out for. Animals that max at level 5 typically include deer, geese, and pigs, but again, other species do go up to level 5, including bantang, feral goats, sheep, chamois, and common raccoons, but don't confuse them with raccoon dogs, because raccoon dogs, they go up to level 9. Common raccoons go up to level 5. Finally, 3 very easy is the last max level to cover. Animals that max level 3 usually include birds and rabbits, but again, there are exceptions. Roe deer and white-tailed deer max level 3 for example, while other deer species usually max level 5. There's 3 max levels, so if you come across a species you're unsure of, look up the max level or look at the animals in the area to figure it out. If you see a level 6, 7, or 8, the animal goes up to 9. Anything below that may be difficult to determine unless you see a good number of them, so you can find many sources online that will tell you their max level. Personally, I have charts in my Discord server along with Lady Legend Exos server, which can tell you the max level and weights for every species. There is also a Google Doc sheet that does this, so if you are unsure, there are plenty of sources you can look out for. Now that you know about levels and difficulties, let's talk about classes. Animal classes. Animal classes depend on the size and durability of an animal. In the info box I talked about earlier, you can find the class of the animal in the top right corner with a number and an animal in a circle. This represents the animal's class. You must use a weapon that covers this class on the animal in order to get full score and medal rating harvesting. Harvest checks. Harvest checks determine whether or not the animal you harvest receives the full medal or not. An animal's trophy rating will always stay the same, but the medal, however, bronze, silver, gold, diamond, or great one, can change. If the animal scores the minimum required trophy rating for the medal, it will score that rank. If you do not pass all of the harvest checks, the medal will drop down a tier while the trophy rating stays the same. This way you can see what it would have ranked if you had passed all the harvest checks. To pass all the harvest checks, you must use the correct caliber of weapon, hit a vital organ on the animal, leave the trophy organ untouched, which the harvest screen tells you. It's usually the skull, but it's species dependent, and shoot an animal no more than 2 times. Implementing what you've learned so far, let's talk about some strategies you can use to play Call of the Wild. Also, if you find this video helpful, please hit that like button. Herd management. Let's get into one of the most popular and most recent strategies created in Call of the Wild. Herd management was a major talk in the community for a while, and there is actually a lot of confusion surrounding it. I'm not going to go into a full deep dive, as there are many videos and guides you can find on it online, but I will explain it in short. If you would like me to make an in-depth video on my ways and how I personally use herd management, please let me know, because that I can probably do. I did actually talk a little bit about it in my coyote guide for New England mountains, so you can check that out if you like. Again, not into a full in-depth tutorial, because if you get into the specifics, it can get kind of long, so we're just gonna go over it in short. Herd management really is not as difficult as people make it seem. In simple terms, all herd management is selective shooting. Using herd management, you leave the lowest levels you can find on your map in the majority of your zones, and you leave the biggest ones in the zones that you choose that are your favorite. Main zones are your favorite zones and the ones you will have set up 24/7 throughout your grind. Here, you will leave your biggest males while also shooting the small males out of them. Exterior zones are the opposite. These are your zones that you don't like as much, or your extra zones. In these zones, you will leave the smallest and lowest level males only. You will shoot the bigger ones out of them until you're left with only the lowest level males. Unless you're doing a bear grind, don't pay too much attention to the females, because shooting the females will not benefit you. In fact, it can actually hurt your grind if done too often. Shooting down zones is the term used for the act of literally shooting the big males until they respawn as smaller males. You shoot a big male and you keep shooting it until it eventually respawns as a small, low-level male. Now, getting past all that herd management and stuff, you don't have to grind to play the game. Actually, one of the most popular methods before grinding became a thing was multiplayer hopping. Multiplayer hopping is when you join various multiplayer servers until you find a fresh or unhunted map. A fresh map means a map that is unhunted or hunted very little. Signs of unhunted maps usually include little to no zones of any kind, low-level hosts, and little to no hunting pressure. Continuing on multiplayer hopping. Multiplayer hopping was, and still is, one of the most popular and effective ways to get trophies besides great ones. If you find a great one in multiplayer, there's like a 99% chance that it's either modded or cheated, so I'd steer clear from that if you see one in multiplayer. And the reason this method was so effective is because every fresh map comes with trophies. You are guaranteed a trophy on each map. You just have to find it. Usually, in my experience, you can find upwards of 5 trophies on a map. Some of them are more difficult to find than others, but they are there. When you finally find a good trophy that you like, don't get too caught up in the moment and make a mistake you'll regret. No matter what type of hunting you decide to do, remember to switch it up every now and then, because it is very easy to get burnt out doing the same thing over and over again, especially if it's confusing or frustrating. I also recommend that you don't do grinds as a beginner. Learn the game first and then eventually get into grinding if you're going to. So here are some tips to avoid this happening to you. Latest harvest tip. If you've ever been so excited about getting a trophy that you accidentally end up accepting the harvest and forgetting to taxonomize it, don't worry, you're not alone. I've done that many times. If this happens to you, don't worry. Your trophy is not gone unless you pick up something directly after accepting it. When you enter your trophy manager, which is found in your trophy lodge, you'll see the option above your previous and taxi trophies that says latest harvest, and this will show the most recent animal that you've killed and harvested. From here, you can taxonomize it and add it to your trophy manager. So do not lose a trophy for good because you accidentally accepted it without taxing it. Main menu trick. If you're in a grind, eventually you're going to end up with slow respawns. Or maybe you've just spotted a rare animal and found its drink zone in multiplayer. When you reset the time, it doesn't show up. If this happens, go back to your tent or outpost and exit to the main menu. After you've done that, return to your game and check that zone for the animal, because most of the time they will be there. For some reason, the main menu trick pushes the animals into their zones faster. I'm not exactly sure why, but it works, so take advantage of it. 1 minute trick. Say you've joined a random multiplayer server and you pick up the track of a rare rooster. You follow its track to its drink zone or feed zone and get the zone, reset the time, it's not there. Well, on multiplayer, you can't really do the main menu trick because the server's not yours. One trick you could do is to set the time forward by 1 minute. It doesn't work every time, but sometimes it does. Again, not sure why, but when it works, it does work. So utilize it while you can. That's pretty much all I've got for you today. Hopefully this helped you at least learn something. If it did, please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And let me know if it did, or if you have any other ideas that you're unsure of. I'll do my best to answer and explain. Thank you for watching.